How are we doing, guys? Welcome to 4 Elements Outdoors. I'm Lewis and welcome to part 2 of my mini series where I've been going over how I set up a basher for either hammock camping or ground dwelling. If you saw the previous episode, check out the link in the description. I described and went over how I set up a basher for when I'm using my hammock. I went over the sort of area that I particularly look for, the distance between trees, the terrain, you know, just so I've got enough cover, etc. In this episode, I am going to do just a little demonstration on how I'd set up a basher for ground dwelling. So if you only have a roll mat, you don't have a hammock or a tent, then all you need is a basher and a roll mat and you can make it work. For ourselves, for me and Dan, who again isn't here today, we tend to use a basher, set up and just sleep on the ground when it's in like summertime. There isn't any real need to be off the deck. That said, hammock camping is still my preferred way just because I've then got a seat as well to just relax in. So yeah, stick around and let's get to it. Right, for the sake of demonstrations, the area that I used in the previous video for how I'd set up a basher for a hammock, to be honest with you, it will suit perfectly for setting up a basher on the ground. So again, I'm going to tie off from this tree to this tree, basically using the same method, using my kind of ridgeline but not ridgeline way of rigging up a hammock. Obviously with a slight twist because I want to have some of the ground sheet underneath myself just so I don't get wet, the gear doesn't get wet, etc. But provides enough shelter over myself from the elements. So right, stick around. I'm going to get the basher out and everything else required and get going. Right, usually when I'm going to set up on the deck, I will look for perfectly flat ground. Now there might be instances if you're out on a wild camp and you arrive and you haven't really done a good recce on the area, sometimes you just got to roll the dice and just go with what you have, you know. Got to play the cards you're dealt. But one important thing, clear away all the big sticks. You do not need them digging into yourself. That will make for a very uncomfortable night's sleep. Basically, you just want to try and get your ground as clear as possible for your setup. Here we're on a slight incline, but if I was to have my head up on the left hand side here, then blood's not going to be flowing to my head and it'll be a pretty comfortable sleep, to be honest with you. So give me a couple of seconds, I'm going to clear all this away and then get cracking. Right, again, just like my last video when I set up the basher for the hammock, I'm going to use these lengths of rope with this little cinch knot, wherever we're going to learn to call it, but for now it is the cinch knot. They work perfectly well, just like on the for the hammock basher. Only difference is I'm going to set them up probably about 2 to 2.5 feet off the ground. That way my shelter is going to be at a good angle, you know, just to offer the protection I require. So yeah, let's get these attached. Honestly, this is such a time saver. This idea was thought up between myself and Dan, just literally pondering, throwing ideas around, and it works. Right, so yeah, this is both ends tied up, about a foot to about 2 foot off the deck. So that should work pretty well. Right, get the basher. Right, again, I always have my basher pretty much pre-set up. This time it's set up for the way I'd have a hammock, but a tiny bit of alteration will take care of that. First things first though, let's get the ends tied off, just so we have something to work with. Now, instead of going off the centre line, like I do for the hammock, for a basher, I'm going to tie off on the eye-ring, like the third of the way up, in the middle of the half, however you want to describe it. And then this end I can have off as a tiny little porch area, like I did for the hammock. slight adjustment, loosen off the knot, slide the knot, tighten the knot, pick up your Basha. There's a couple of ways we could do this Basha. If it is in the summertime and the ground was completely dry, I'd have no issues in pegging down the Basha at a good 45-degree angle like that. If, like today, however, the weather is not particularly that good, I would consider having the Basha underneath like this. I'd peg down the cornering here on the other third, and then that way I have a little area where I can be on the Basha underneath. If this was a 3x3 top, you'd have a lot more flexibility in what you can do. But again, for the sake of the video, I'm going to demonstrate how I'd have this set up for the summertime, because that is primarily when I will be using this setup. In the winter, I don't want to be on the ground. I'd rather be in my hammock and just nice and comfortable. So I want to get these pegged up and yeah, get back to you. Have you ever been in the woods and thought, I'm not alone? I'm sure I can hear something. No idea what it is? I'm not alone. Right, now with a Basha, you can either peg out using guy ropes, which to be honest with you don't really need to do. I'll just go for the corner of the eye, or the corner eye, sorry, and just peg that. There's not a stone underneath to the deck, and there's a big stone. You get the drift. So there's one corner. Middle one, quite important. You do not want that the wind picking up and gust under there whilst you're there. Should the weather turn slightly adverse. Right, that's the back end peg down. Front end, I want to set up a little mini porch like I did for the hammock, which will be adjustable because should the weather close in, you can just load the flap a tiny bit and tie up all the guy ropes. Right, got two suitably sized sticks, so I can create a tiny little porch setup, which should the weather get bad, I can either angle down and tie off, or just pull the Basha straight down and tie off on the guy ropes. Let's get these in. Again, like last time, you do what you need to do to try and get the support. So, because this one doesn't quite fit through the eye, because I've got my knife, I can't taper it. I was going to put it down at this angle, and then tie up the guy rope. Right guys, that is how I prefer to have the Basha set up. Depending on our location, I might have it slightly higher, but in a location like this, if it's summertime, I mean, in the summertime the bush around here would be very, very green and we would be hidden completely. But for the sake of concealing yourself from weather, as you can tell, that's probably only about 1.5 feet off the deck. That is enough room for me to get my roll mat on the floor, sleeping bag, stow my bag underneath as well, and it'll all be dry. Like I said, with a 3x3 top, you'd have a little bit more flexibility in terms of being able to bring some of the Basha underneath yourself, like just to prevent yourself from getting damp. But again, like I said, this is an option that we tend to use in the summer months when you haven't really got to be concerned about that. But again, if you have any questions, please drop a note in the or drop a comment, sorry, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. Alternatively, you can reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter, whichever you prefer. That's 4 Elements Outdoors for both. Yeah, that is pretty much it. It's a shame Dan couldn't be with us again today, but you know, we all have lives. But if you like what you see, like our content, please give the video a like, give ourselves a subscribe, just some support from the channel. That would be really appreciated. So until next time, you take care, stay safe. We'll see you soon. Cheers. There is a strong sound and smell coming. It is disturbing all the local wildlife. The smell is quite pungent. It's hold on, I can hear the twigs snapping. Yeah, the smell is definitely getting stronger. It's quite a pungent smell. Hold on. Dun dun dun. He's here. Where you come from?
I can smell you a mile away.
Well, funny enough, I was just saying the exact same thing to the camera. I was worried it was going to be a Sasquatch. Well, Dan did arrive, so say hello, Dan.
How you doing? So you got hungry, Lewis?
How did I miss that? How did I miss that?
Couldn't wait.
It would
Couldn't
appear
wait for Nando's to open again.
pigeon will suffice. God, something tore that apart. Well, there you go. Mystery solved. The smell was Dan.